Hello, hello, and welcome to actually it's episode 16 today for the Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. So today we have another topic. So the topic is mindset mastery. So shifting from an employee to an entrepreneurial mindset. And our guest today is Julieta Eljovic. So she's going to be joining us in a few minutes. But before we dive into our topic, let me introduce myself. So, hi, everyone. My name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama, but I currently reside in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I also work in the movie industry, and I'm a proud digital business owner and mentor. I also want to remind everyone that if you want to learn how you can start your online business and start earning online, all you have to do is register in the website that appear on the screen, put your name and email address, and I'll be sending you the link to watch the webinar. So actually, we have one tonight. So it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. So when you register into my website, you will receive an email that will contain two links. So the first link is to register for the live webinar. That link will take you to a page that will have two buttons, one for Tuesdays and one for Thursdays. So you can register for either one or for both. And the second link is to watch the replay of the live webinar. So just in case you cannot attend to the live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay and then watch it at your own convenience from the comfort of your own home. In addition to that, I invite you to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. So when you're probably wondering, okay, fine. I click on the website, I register with my name and email address. I receive that email, register uh, for the live for the live webinar. And then what am I gonna see on the webinar? So on the webinar, you're gonna find out how our online business plan works and how and you're gonna also see the panelists. Sorry, there's too noise a little bit here. Maybe you guys cannot hear, but I can hear. Um, and you're gonna hear what the panelists, decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So they're gonna be sharing that tonight. And we are lucky today that one of the panelists is our guest today. So you're gonna know a little bit more, and she's gonna be here tonight on the webinar. So if you registered for tonight's webinar, you're gonna see her tonight and hear her story. So let's find out who are the hosts and panelists. So the host is Lydia. She's a former specialist public health nurse. We also have Cora, a healthcare worker. We have Ryan, a nurse educator. Margarita, a full-time mom. And Julieta, our guest tonight, engineer. And then we have Ida, healthcare assistant. Liz, senior merchandise planner. And Tabasum, a beauty therapist. So as you see, we have all different walks of life who decided to take that leap of faith to start their online business to be able to change their life and their family's life. So if you're catching the live webinar has subtitles in 5 languages: Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. And if you're catching the replay has subtitles in several languages. So now you know what to do. So if you want to catch tonight's live webinar, just register in the website that appear on the screen, and I'll send you the link to watch the webinar for tonight. Okay, so now let me go back to our topic for today. Like I mentioned, is mindset mastery. So shifting from an employee to an entrepreneurial mindset. And our guest is Julieta Eljovic. Okay, so let me introduce Julieta for you guys. So I'm so honored to introduce today's inspiring guest, Julieta, originally from Argentina and now living in Canada for the past 18 years. Julieta is an accomplished engineer, a dedicated mom of 2 boys, and a true example of perseverance and resilience. She spent years working in the corporate world and even took 5 years to upgrade her degree to meet Canadian standards, all while being the sole provider for her family. So after working 40 plus hours per week, she started looking for a smarter way to supplement her income without trading more time for money. That's when her journey into digital business began, and today she's building something that offers more freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. So get ready to be inspired by Julieta's stories of strength, sacrifice, and stepping into possibility. So let's bring Julieta to the studio. Thank you, Julieta. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Sandy. I'm happy. Thank you so much for having me.
So would you like to introduce yourself to the audience so they get to know you a little bit more, how this journey started?
Wow, but what else can I say? You said it all. You did such a good job. Well, yeah, yeah, like Sandy was saying, first of all, hello everyone. I'm happy to be here on Sandy's page. I'm okay, hoping to inspire somebody today and tonight on the webinar as well. So yeah, I came into Canada 2006, and I always say we already started our life as entrepreneurs when we immigrated to another country to start from scratch somewhere else, with no families, no friends, our careers not being recognized, and having a long road ahead of us, right, to get where we want to be. But yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to do at the time. And then my family structure changed. I ended up being the only provider for my family. With that, many unexpected expenses came up and whatnot. So I ended up like trying to see what else can I do. I mean, it can't be just this, right? Working always for somebody else, it was okay because thank God, I love what I do. I love my job. I work in construction. I'm actually, like Sandy said, I'm an engineer, but I am in the construction field, and I really like that because it gives me, I feel part of the society. We're all part of the society, but seeing the development and building and all of that, I really enjoy. And I travel a lot for my work, because I do inspections on site, so I get to be a lot on the road. And those moments where you reflect, I guess, where you only have to drive and there's like hours ahead of me. And yeah, I started thinking I have to find some other way. Because and thank God, because with the changes that we've seen in the world, it has only gotten worse in terms of things being more expensive and whatnot. So at one point, I think everybody needs a plan B. So but I didn't know anything online was possible. I was not looking for something online. I was just like in the need of doing something extra, but not necessarily online, because I was not aware that there was this business, for example, that could help us, in the way that this business changes lives. That's why I say this business found me. It came to me instead of me looking for it. So yeah, that's how I started, and the rest is history. I really enjoy being here, meeting people like Sandy, creating, becoming friends, because we connect a lot, and we relate with our stories. Yourself, you're not from Canada, so we have that little bit of we share the same pain, having left our countries.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I love my profession, but I also like having something that belongs to me, because it happened already to me in 2012. I got laid off from the company where I was working, because structural changes in the company, and a new manager comes in, reorganizes people. We're numbers, because that's what it is, in a company. Companies are there to make money. So that's it. I myself and many others, colleagues, were left out of the company. So then I went back to school. I said, okay, I'm gonna take some time and see if I can, I don't know, do a specialization or something. And then I was a year off work, but studying and whatnot. I completed my studies, and then I found the job that I have today. And from this, it's been 13. It's gonna be 14 years on August in summer. But still, it's not something of my own. I'm still getting up early in the morning, working 40 plus hours for somebody else, which is it's okay, but at the same time is also necessary to build something on the side for us, right? For us, for our families, have a plan B, because we already saw everything that happened, right? And nothing is secure out there.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's one of the reasons why, like there was a strike for me, for example, like there was a strike in my industry in the busy season for us, that we were not able to work, and that's the job instability. Like I had something similar to that back in 2004, but I was young, and for me it was like, okay, fine, I'll go find something else in the meantime until the industry picks up. But now it's different, like I'm getting older, wiser. So I have goals, I have a purpose, and I didn't see myself growth anymore, where I was. So I want to be able to have a purpose in life. And when I found this online business opportunity, that I found that purpose in here. The other thing is, like I will mention, is I have Asian parents. Okay, so right now, they're independent, and I want to be able to spend time with them. So working in my industry, I work long hours, and I don't have fixed hours. It varies according to the needs of the movie production. So that make it a little bit harder, uh,
Absolutely, yes.
to be able to spend time with them. And also, eventually, we'll have to take care of them. So if I continue working in my industry, that would be possible. So I needed to find something, and I've been looking for that, like thinking about that like 7 years ago. But I kept working, didn't look for it until I found that setback that made me look for it. And then I found this opportunity, which check all the boxes that I was looking for, because back in 7 years ago, I found those digital nomad. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have that kind of lifestyle, so I can do something, is my own, but take it with me anywhere, because I love to travel too. So when I found this opportunity, was it checked all the boxes that I was looking for. So that's why I'm here in this journey, and continue, working towards that financial independence.
Yeah, and how sometimes how things happen, because you found this because there was a setback, in your industry, and hadn't that not happened, maybe you would have never, think of looking for something else. So everything, it's like a blessing in disguise, we always say.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into the questions. All right. So, what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make when moving from a traditional job to building your own business?
Well, it was very hard, but not hard in terms of difficulty. It was hard in terms of that I had never done it. And they say the younger that you are, the faster you learn, right? That's what when we say, when you have kids, make them learn when they speak many languages. It's better when they learn them when they're kids, because then when you're older, it's more difficult to learn. Their brains are so new. So it was mainly because of that. I had always worked corporate, and when you always do one thing in the same systematic way for many years on your life, you get used to a structure, right? And then it's difficult to adjust your brain and to adjust your habits to something new, right? Which is kind of the same thing, when there's a major change, if everything needs an adjustment, when there's a major change in your life, that you're not used to, all of a sudden you face this new situation, you have to adapt and adjust. It's just that here, in terms of working, you have to like you're conscious that you're making a change. So it's easier in the sense that, okay, nobody is imposing that change to you into your life. It's yourself, but it still takes practice and a lot of dedication, at least in my of course it depends on the person, right? I'm talking my experience. I had to like really ask, okay, it's my business. There's nobody that's going to come and tell me, okay, now go to your training, start your training, do a certain amount of time, learn, set up your business or do some learning. It was all going to depend on me. Whether when you are working for something, I go into my for somebody, I go into my office and I know what things I have pending, right? Okay, I know that I have to finish for this client, I have to return a call, I have to send 2-3 emails, whatever it is, but it's all structured, right? And you have to do those steps, and there's no questioning that you're not going to do them, because you are always going to be responsible for your job. You're going to show up because you know that you have somebody to report. You have to, your boss is going to say, okay, what happened with this? Why are you delayed or whatever, right? But when it comes to you, you have to adjust in terms of creating that compromise with yourself. Because it's easy to say, okay, you know what, today I'm tired. No, I think I'm just going to go take a nap, or I'm going to go to bed early, and then not show up for yourself, because you're not going to, give yourself some shit, if you allow me to say, right? I'm not going to give myself consequences because I didn't show up for my business. But in the end, I'm creating my own consequences, right? Why, if I can have that discipline to my boss, why can't I have it for myself? Although, yeah, okay, my boss is paying me, and if I don't show up for my job, it's not going to last very long. And so you do it. You don't question, okay, no, you know what, today I'm tired, I'm going to go in 2 hours later. There's no, that won't happen. But for your business, you allow yourself to do that. So those things, it happened to me in the beginning. I had to, and I'm guilty of having wasted time, absolutely guilty of sometimes not doing something because I didn't want to. I was tired, or I prefer doing something else. And not because this is not enjoyable, because I love what we do here. I love the training. It's absolutely easy to follow. It's incredible, the things we learn, the how do you say, not the complicity, but would be the opposite, how simple things are laid out for us, right? I didn't know how to run an online business. I would not known what to do if we didn't have this training that I can rely 100% on, and that has been working since 2016 for thousands of people, not just a few hundred, thousands of people in the whole world. I wouldn't have known what to do. So I think I owe it to myself, the fact of, okay, show up. You started this, make yourself, responsible, create a compromise for yourself. I'm here for a reason, right? I prefer this than the reason I started this is because I didn't want to go trade time for money when I was trying to, to have some extra because of the unexpected expenses that were showing up because of my, my situation and whatnot. But at one point I had to say, okay, there's something that I'm not doing right. Okay, I have to, I have to be. So I had to make that mindset shift. And luckily, we don't do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. We have, I always say, we come to a business, or we start a business because we need extra money, not because I need self-development, right? But we get so many more things that are not just related to the economic part. It's incredible the self-development that I have, or the personal development. That's what the word I was looking for. The personal development that I was able to add to my life, which is good for me of course for my business, because I'm developing a lot of, I don't know, new skills that I never knew I had, or being comfortable like talking on the camera, or doing presentations, right? I was never comfortable on that, and not even in my profession. I prefer, like, no, I'm very low profile. But this has helped me, like, step out of my comfort zone, right? So all that has helped me in the business, of course, in my personal life, in my professional life, because I've been able to do things that I didn't do before. And the truth is, I didn't come to the business looking for that. I came to the business looking for, a way to supplement my income. But once you understand that it's not all about money, it really makes a difference. But yeah, I think that's the major shift, change in mindset, to understand that you have to create a compromise. You have to, like, create a contract with yourself, and it's like a moral contract with yourself, because you're not going to write anything. You're not going to sign a contract with yourself. You have to have it in your heart. You have to show up, and especially if you're serious, right, about wanting to change and everything. So yes, I don't know if I, like, said too much.
No, no, no. It was very good. Yeah, because you touch a lot of things that when you start this business, as a new business owner, we do so many mistakes, and
Yeah.
one of the mistakes is the things like you mentioned, like we are so used to a structure at work, right? So we know what to do. We have done, our duties. We know what to do every day. That when we show up, but when you're working on your business at home, that's a different thing. Like it's like you don't have that structure. You have to create that structure. You
Yes.
have to create that habit, that discipline, you know. And many times, like you mentioned, you can get sidetracked easily, with
Oh my
things,
gosh. Yes.
So you really have to have, that discipline. So I do understand because I have been there, and I'm pretty sure many of the business owners that are in our community have been there too. Until eventually, we start, finding those ways to organizing ourselves, and have that create that structure in our business too. So I do get that. The other thing that you mentioned there, the mindset. Yeah, I think when we come to this business, sometimes we still have that employee mindset instead of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes,
And that
100%.
also, yeah, and that also makes a huge difference because as an entrepreneur mindset, you are thinking, as this is your priority, your business is your priority. Yes, you go to the job, you have that income, but what you're working towards is your business because that's what is gonna make that time that you're looking for, that financial stability that you're looking for. But you have to shift it, and sometimes it takes some time to do that. But we're so blessed, like you mentioned, we are so blessed that our online business that we have here, it has all the training. We have workshops also. We have the masterminds, and the global online community that help you because that's the beauty of it, because a lot of people are ahead of us, so they can give us that support because they understand where we are standing right now at the moment. They have been on our shoes,
Yes.
so they can guide you, and help you out. So thank you for sharing that was very, very in detail. Yeah, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the second question. So were there any beliefs or habits from your employee mindset that you had to unlearn or reframe to succeed as an entrepreneur?
Yes. Actually, beliefs or habits that you had to unlearn. Um, well, I think the main one is creating the like having myself or keeping myself accountable, finding a way of keeping myself accountable to actually show up every day. And one thing I had to understand, in that's kind of in relation with what you were saying before. When you go to work, you know that at the end of the month or at the beginning, whatever, you get paid, right? And in being an entrepreneur, that doesn't always happen like that. And there are many things that there's a lot of work that you put into the business that don't have immediate results, right? Like when you develop, I don't know, your content, or when you develop, I don't know, strategies, or when you are creating, I don't know, you're doing videos, or when you're writing a text, right? When something that maybe you're building up your ad, there's a lot of time that you have to put in there, that where you're not going to see any results. Maybe you're going to work on that ad for many hours, and it's not going to give you anything at the end of the week or at the end of the month. But once you put your ad out there and it starts performing as it has to, or how you expected, well, that's where the magic is going to happen. But as a new entrepreneur, you have to understand that sometimes, example, Sandy, we've worked together with all the Spanish platform, right? We spent how many hours, how many weekends, doing translations, organizing all the structure of the business. But that doesn't give you anything monetary right away, right? The advantage of that is that now we can reach audiences that before we didn't have the opportunity, because for people who don't speak English, everything was in English. So if they don't have access to anything that's in their language, they can be in the business. But now we have done so much work that we can reach so many languages. We did it in Spanish, but there are a lot of other communities that have worked on their own languages, and now that's the results that we're getting. The fact of being able to reach people who are in other communities that are also using this business model as the same way we are. So that is a result that didn't show up right away, because our platform is very extensive, so it did take us a lot of time to create everything that we did. But it's all for future goals, right? And it's like we always say, the day you plant the seed is not when you're going to see it's not when nothing's going to happen. Maybe it's going to see a month is going to pass until you have any kind of results, or maybe sometimes it's even more. But in terms of that is not unlearning, but maybe learning things differently, and this is one of them. Like sometimes I'm gonna have to put a lot of effort in things that I won't see results right away. But and as an entrepreneur, that's the way it is, and not only for us in being a digital business owners, that's for, I think, any entrepreneur as well. And then habits, yes, habits is the fact of not getting distracted, trying to reduce the distractions when I'm trying to do something, and also the fact that if you're working, you set yourself for 2 hours to work, then everybody around you has to kind of be aware that those 2 hours are for you to do something, not because maybe it's just you're watching your mastermind, right? But that is part of doing your business. We have to show up, we have to watch the masterminds, because that's the way we keep we keep track of everything that's happening in the business. Well, that is a moment where you have to have, whether you watch it live or you watch it on the replay, because I don't know, maybe people live in the other side of the world, yourself and the people around you have to understand that's the moment you have to dedicate your business. It's maybe an hour and a half that you're doing your business at that moment. So because it happens to me, when I sit down, everybody needs something, right? That's the way it is. So you have to make the people around you aware of that. And in the first one, myself, because it's so easy. Oh, a text message, oh, a notification, oh, this, you sidetrack. I sidetrack so much. So it's trying to get better habits and control a bit the ones that are not that good, especially when you're working because when I'm a job, you can't get distracted, because that you have somebody watching over your back. But when you're your own boss, or you're working for yourself, right? And no, there's nobody watching your back except yourself, and maybe the example you're giving to your family, or if you have younger kids, the example of perseverance. Okay, own something and actually do it responsibly.
Mhm.
So yes, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, yes, it did. Thank you so much. Yeah, you touched a lot of things there. When it comes to belief, yeah, I think that's one of the things that when we start something, we want to see results fast.
um,
And we have to understand that, it takes time. Like you mentioned, the example of planting the seed, it takes time to grow as a big, beautiful tree or plant. So for that one, like I think the hardest part of this journey is what we call, I call it like the process, like going from point A to point B. So point A is your start, and point B is where you want to get to. um it's like that's the psychology of the endurance. That's how
yeah,
I see it. It's kind of like like the militaries, they go through this training, to prepare them, for when they have to be resilient to whatever they face. So it's kind of like the same thing for us. Like we once we understand that there is a process, then you become unstoppable. But the
yeah,
hard part is understanding that process, understanding that it takes time, understanding that, um, that you're doing the hard work at the beginning, you know, and then, later on you're going to see all the results. You're not going to have to put that much work that you put at the beginning, but at the beginning it takes the hard work, and you have to do it, because if you want to see results. The other thing I want to say is, we have to focus on the things that we can control, and
yeah,
many times we focus on the things that we can control, and those things that we can control are the ones that really put us down, you know that, like we feel not motivated. We eventually, we even, like we might quit, because we don't have that mindset, and understanding that process. But when you focus on the things that you can control, like you mentioned, doing your posting, for example, if you do lives, do your lives, attending the training, do your training, attending the masterminds, all those workshops that we have available to us. Those are the things that you can control. So if you focus on those things that you can control, the rest will fall in place. Uh,
absolutely.
but you have to really understand that, and until you understand that, that's when you're going to be able to be like unstoppable. Yes, you're going to face obstacles and challenges along the way, because this is a journey of ups and downs. But
Yes.
the key here is to have the mindset that, yeah, you're going to feel down, because we are humans. We're going to have our moment, but then why we're going to bounce back, and continue our journey. So
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can, I would add, to what you were saying. The thing is, we don't have to figure it out all on our own. We have so much material support, tools, techniques, name it, in our training that help us with that. It's just a matter of applying them, and knowing that it's not expected that you do everything on your own. We have mentors, we have with you and me, we're not connected on the business, but we have some kind of connection. We all already speak the same language, right? And people tend to come together for things that they share in common, right? We have probably family both in our countries, and we share the language already. We have professions. We started from zero in a different country. We share something. We have something in common, and that's the thing. The tools, we have them all. We have them. It's just a matter of. Then I always say, we have everything for people to be successful, but we can't do the job for them, and nobody can come and do it for us, the same
mhm,
way. And also there is always a learning curve, right? And I think this is something that nobody would question, why you start first year in your career, you wouldn't, nobody would expect for you to have your degree next year, right? It's gonna take you a year, 2, 3, 4, even 5 years to get your degree. That would be your maximum goal, or your maximum result, let's say, when you start studying a
Sorry.
career. So in
Mhm.
business, it's the same thing, you have to evolve. So
Mhm.
sometimes people expect that because it's online, we no, we have results right away, but it's not the case. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Um, and the thing is, like, like, if you think of this journey, think it as a journey, like, if, like, same thing that you go to a university, you know.
yeah,
But the difference is we're getting paid here for studying, and
exactly.
learning. Yeah, so that makes it even better. And when it comes to habits, it's that takes time. You cannot create those habits like from day to night, um but like, you have to start small, and then manage that first habit that you create, and then add another habit, and then like that, until you eventually, you create that habit, and then you create that structure you want. But yeah, those are the things that, we as a new entrepreneurs, and like, not knowing anything about online, because I didn't know anything about online business either. I was eager to do the business, but I had no idea what was involved in running
Yeah.
an online business. But I'm very happy, for this journey, because I learned so much on this business. And like you mentioned, many times we look at the financial part of it, but when we get to this business, we realize that there's more than the financial part of
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And like the self development, the working on your mindset. And you mentioned something very that I like very much. Like you were saying, like, your kids are watching you, and you're giving the example to your kids. So you gotta set that example to them.
Yeah.
Another guest mentioned, this is a legacy too that you're leaving to your kids, because you're teaching them. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the third question for you: how has embracing an entrepreneurial mindset changed the way you approach challenges, goals, and even your daily routine?
Well, yeah, I like that one because that is all about learning to focus on the things that you are responsible for, and not what other people are responsible for. Because sometimes, and like you said it before, and this is it's weird because I only came aware of this, like learning all about this personal development, and actually applying it on myself. How many times, or how much time we spent thinking and worrying about a situation, when on a certain situation there's only one part that we're responsible for. And if there's something that I've learned here and I am trying to apply, and is that I'm responsible for my actions, not other people's actions. So it's always like that, and that it does take I don't know, because it's something that we grew up with. I mean, I've never heard so much talk about personal, personal development that in these last couple of years. I don't know if it's the fact that we had this crazy world event where everybody like is talking about the mental health and things like that, but we tend to overthink too much and worry a lot, right? But the truth is, worrying for things that we have no control of, it only creates more pressure on ourselves. In what I've learned with this is to only focus on what I want, where I want to get, and doing the best possible for myself and for the people most near to me. And that's how I try to, and challenges we have them almost every day, even at work. How many times I get frustrated with a client, let's say, that makes me work on I don't know, a project, and then all of a sudden everything changes, and either the project doesn't go through, or I have to change something because it doesn't apply anymore. I mean, what does it give me to get frustrated when I can't do nothing about it, right? It's just, just okay. I overworked a couple hours. It doesn't make a difference. So and at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. I still get my things done and everything. So here is the same thing. And one of the things that I like a lot is the fact of putting the thing where you put your attention is where you put your energy. So and again, this is something that I've been like learning and incorporating in my life not so long ago, not too long ago. And it really is like that, when we concentrate on good things, or on things that we like, on helping people, or creating our businesses, or learning, that's where we put our energy. So you're going to find more of that, right? So and if you concentrate on complaining about the traffic, complaining about I don't know, the organization of your company or whatever where you work, you're going to find more things to complain. So yeah, that's how I try to approach things from a while back.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so that, yeah, it's just, changing, from the negative to the positive mindset, you know. Also another thing that you mentioned there, like being in as an entrepreneur, like there's constant changes,
Yes.
so you need to learn to adapt to those changes, be flexible, you know, that nothing is like set as stone. Sometimes you plan something, but it doesn't happen as you plan. So I just adapt and then find a way to do it, like finding solutions. That's the another an example of entrepreneurial mindset, instead of being, like a fix it, um, like a victim mindset. Like I that was one of the first lessons that I learned on my journey. Like I was launching my YouTube ad, and then I was so excited, and then right away, I got stopped just because I used a word that it had two meanings. you know but the meaning that I was using wasn't the one that um was the flag word, but they took it as, that
Yeah.
one. So for
Well,
me,
it's part of the learning curve.
yeah. So for me, like I felt devastated, because I was so excited, to launch, and I said, no, now it stopped me, But I was lucky that I had a member of a community, a friend of mine that, we used to meet in every morning. And she was able to help me bounce back. And then I shifted from that problem victim mindset into a solution focused mindset, and started to find
Yeah.
out how to fix that YouTube issue that I had for the flag word. So that was one of the first lessons. And from that lesson, I learned so many. One is mindset. Because, I thought that I had a strong mindset because I encountered challenges, but I learned that, you have to feed your mindset all the time, you know, because your mindset is like a muscle. If you don't work your muscles, they get weak. So the same thing, if you don't work your mindset daily, your mindset is going to fail you when you least expect it. And yes, you might encounter some setbacks that, you're going to feel down, and that's normal. Like I mentioned before, we're humans, but the key here is to bounce back. So there's so many entrepreneurial mindset that, we have learned here that has helped us, in challenges, goals, and daily routine, that we're so blessed that, we can also, not only uh, use them, in our business, but also in our personal life too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we have arrived to the end of our live. So we want to wish thank you to everyone that has watched the live with us today. For those catching the replay, thank you so much. To our followers, thank you for being part of our journey, for believing in us, and for engaging with our content. For those who doesn't follow us, you can follow us up here on the top, and you get to know us a little bit more who we are and what type of content we post in our business page. So saying that, I want to say thank you to Julie too for being here with us today, for
Thank
sharing
you.
her time and sharing her journey and experience. So if you want to learn how you can start your online business, all you have to do is register in any of the websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar. So when you register to the webinar, you will receive an email that will contain two links. So the first link is to register for the live webinar. So that one will take you to a page that will have two buttons. So one for Tuesdays or one for Thursdays. Our webinar is every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. So the second link that you will get in there is the replay link. So just in case you miss the live webinar, that's not a problem. You can always catch the replay of the live webinar and watch it at your own convenience from your own comfort of the home. Okay. Now, so when you register to to our website, in the live webinar, you will find out that on the webinar how our online business plan works, and also um, you get to hear from the testimonials of the panelists who are going to be sharing why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. And tonight we have Julieta or Julie, who is going to be sharing, with you why she decided to start this online business and how this online business has transformed her life. So we have comment here from James Dyson. Thank you, James, for watching. And
Thanks
also we
for
have from
watching.
Ezekiel Molloy. So good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for watching. So yeah, so let's find out who are the hosts. Do you mind just helping me here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so today we're gonna have our host is Lydia. Oh, I know her, but I have never met her. So she is a former specialist public health nurse. So wow, she from the healthcare industry. Now she is working on her digital business. Then we have Tabasum. Tabasum, she is a beauty therapist or was a beauty therapist. Doesn't specify. Liz is a senior merchandise planner. There you go, a senior merchandise planner. Aida, she's a healthcare assistant as well. And well, then there's myself. I work as an engineer in construction. Do you want to finish the last three?
Yes. Okay. So we also have Margarita. She's a full-time mom. We have Ryan, a nurse educator, and we have Cora, a healthcare worker. So as you see, we have all different walks of life who are going to be on the panelists tonight. So they're going to be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their life. So they decided to take that leap of faith to change their life and their family's life. So, if you're watching the live webinar, the live webinar has subtitles in Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. And our replay has subtitles in several languages. So now you know. So again, if you want to learn how you can start your online business, all you have to do is register in the websites that appear on the screen. So we want to say thank you to everyone again, and thank you, Julie, for being here with us. And until the next episode for Real Talk Journeys of Resilience and Success. So tomorrow we have another guest and another topic. So stay tuned for that for tomorrow. Thank you,
Thank
everyone. God bless you, and a happy and blessed Thursday for those who are on Thursday, and happy and blessed Friday for those who are on Friday, and happy and blessed weekend ahead for everyone. Thank you again.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.